In this section, we will record GST purchase and sales. And in order to record GST tax input and output, we need to set up the following ledgers. So for our transactions, we would create the ledgers CGST, SGST and IGST, and the ledger UTGST, which stands for Union Territory GST. It can be created if your company is registered in a union territory. So since our company is registered in Karnataka, which is not a union territory, therefore we would not be able to create UTGST ledger. So now let's proceed to Tally and create the following GST ledgers. At the gateway of Tally, select the option Accounts Info and press Enter. Then select Ledgers and select Create, which is under Single Ledger, and type the name of the ledger. So I will first create a ledger for SGST. Tax ledgers are grouped under duties and taxes, so I will select its group as duties and taxes. So in the field type of duty, I need to specify that this is a GST ledger and it is a state tax GST ledger. In the field percentage of calculation, you can specify the percentage of SGST. So suppose if I specify the percentage as 2.5%, then SGST would be always calculated by the percentage which will be specified over here. But we have products which attracts 9% of SGST. So specifying a percentage over here would not be an ideal solution, and the applicable tax rate information will be extracted from the group where we define the tax details for each product. So if you remember, we have already defined the tax details at group level, so we need not to specify any percentage over here. So whenever SGST needs to be calculated, Tally will look for the tax information present at the group level and will apply the appropriate percentage of SGST. So if you are selling an item which attracts 12% GST, so SGST would be charged at 6%. So Tally will apply that tax rate according to the item. So therefore I will not define any percentage of calculation right now. So I will leave it to 0%, which was the default value for this field, and press Enter. And in the field rounding method, you can select one of these rounding method. When GST would be calculated on taxable amount, the resulting GST amount would be in decimals. So in order to have the GST amount as whole numbers, you can select one of the rounding methods. So for example, if the resulting SGST amount is rupees 100 rupees and 20 paise, and if you select the rounding method as downward rounding, then the resulting GST amount would be 100 rupees. So with downward rounding, the amount will go to a lower level. So earlier it was 100 rupees 20 paise, now and then it would be 100 rupees. And if you select the rounding method as upward rounding, then the resulting GST amount would be 101 rupees. So Tally would automatically increase the amount in upward rounding to the nearest whole number. And the rounding method, normal rounding, would either round off the GST amount upwards or downwards. So this is how rounding works, but usually we don't round off the GST amount. So for this field we will select the option as not applicable. And to have invoice number as whole numbers, we will use a separate round off ledger. So you will learn about it in the later part of this section. So as of now, I have entered all the required details to create this ledger. And suppose if you are moving from manual accounting to tally, and if you have any input SGST available, then you can provide its opening balance over here. So right now I don't have any opening balance, so simply I will save this ledger. I will press Ctrl A to create this ledger, and similarly I will create the remaining ledgers. So let me create the ledger for CGST. So again it is grouped under duties and taxes. The type of tax is CGST, and the tax type is central tax. So percentage of calculation is 0, rounding method is not applicable, and save it. And I will create the ledger for IGST. And save the ledger. So at this point all the required GST ledgers are created. So now we will proceed to record GST entries. So we are going to record the following GST transactions. There are intrastate purchase transactions, intrastate sales, and interstate purchase and interstate sales. And I will show you how to record transactions involving purchase and sales from unregistered dealer. I have also included a transaction under reverse charge mechanism. So we are going to record all these transactions. So now let's record the first transaction. So we purchased 5 laptops from a dealer which is located in Karnataka. So since both of the business are residing in same state, so intrastate GST would be applicable. So how to record this transaction? So open Tally. So to record transactions, select the option accounting vouchers and open the purchase voucher. So the shortcut key to record purchase is F9 key. So we are in item invoice mode. So earlier we recorded the transactions in voucher mode where we passed a journal entry. So I told you that I will be showing how to record purchase with item invoice mode. So I will revert back to item invoice mode by pressing Ctrl V. So in the field date, you need to specify the date on which you are recording this entry. So I am recording this entry on, assume that I am recording this entry on 5th of August. And the invoice number on my purchase invoice is 101, and the date on the invoice is 2nd of August. In the party account name, you need to specify the name of the supplier. So right now the ledger for supplier doesn't exist, so you need to create the ledger for the supplier. So press Alt C to create the ledger for the supplier. And now let me specify the details of the supplier. So the name of the supplier is Super Technologies. All suppliers are of type sundry creditors, so select the group as sundry creditors. So type few letters of the group and select it from the list. And set the option maintain balances bill by bill to yes if you want Tally to keep track of all the individual bills of this supplier. So if you remember when we recorded payment entries in the previous sections, we were presented with bill wise screen details. So all those things would be enabled if we set this option to yes. So we will keep the option to yes. In the field default credit period, you can specify the number of days of credit allowed between you and the supplier. So we have agreed for 20 days of credit period. So I specify the number of days over here and press enter, and leave the remaining options as it is, and provide a full address of the supplier over here in the address field. And it is very much important to provide address, and especially you need to specify the country, state and the PIN code. because those information will be used at the time of entering e-way bill information, and the address would be used at the time of printing the invoices. So make sure you enter all these details and press enter. In the field provide bank details, if you change this option to yes, you would be allowed to add bank details about this supplier. So right now I am not going to enter all those details. In the field PAN number, you need to specify the PAN number of the supplier. So again, this is an optional field, so that you can leave it blank. And in the field registration type, you need to specify the GST type of the supplier. So whether the dealer is a composition dealer or a regular dealer, you can specify it over here. So this dealer is a regular dealer, so I will select the option regular over here and specify the GST number of the dealer over here and press enter. And if you change the option set or alter GST details to yes and press enter, so you would be further asked for extra GST details, so where you can enter any relevant information about the supplier. So go through the fields and change the options accordingly. So whether the party is an e-commerce operator or not, or whether the party is an deemed export or an embassy or a party from special economic zone. So select the options accordingly, and if the party is a transporter, then change the option to yes over here. So right now I don't have to change any of these options, so just for the sake of learning purpose, I just showed you what these options are. So press the enter key and Tally will prompt you to save the ledger. So press Y to save the ledger. As soon as you select the supplier, you will be provided with this screen. So this screen is referred as party details screen. Here you can add some information like any reference to this order, like order number 10, and any terms of delivery which has been agreed between you and the supplier, and the supplier details like its address and its GST information would be captured automatically. It is not necessary to add any information over here. So whenever you are presented with this screen, and if you don't want to add any information, just press Ctrl A to skip this step. In the field purchase ledger, you need to specify the purchase ledger to be accounted for this entry. So there could be more than one purchase account created. For example, we can have a purchase ledger which can be created by the name purchase at the rate 5% GST. So in such cases, there would be more than one purchase account listed over here. Therefore, we need to specify which purchase ledger we want to consider for this transaction. So as of now, we have only one purchase ledger, so we will select it. Now in the field name of the item, type the name of the item which you have purchased. So the item which I bought is Lenovo IdeaPad 330. So as soon as you type few letters of the item, the list of stock item will get filtered, and you need to select the item which you have purchased. In the field quantity, you need to specify the quantity of items that you have purchased. So I bought 5 units of this laptops and press the enter key, and I bought each laptop at rupees 10,000. So specify the rate per laptop and press the enter key, and press the enter key again. So you can see that the total amount is calculated automatically. So after entering all these details, press the enter key. So when the cursor moves to the next line, you can specify another item which you have purchased. So suppose if I would have bought a DeskJet printer, which is HP DeskJet 3636, then I would be able to specify its details over here, like how many units that I bought and its rate. And you can see that the total will change to 70,000. So whenever you add any item, the total gets updated by itself. So, and for this example, we have only one item which we have purchased, which is the laptop. So I don't have to record the purchase for this printer. So I will remove this line. So to remove the line, press the shortcut key Ctrl D. So it will remove the line. So after specifying all the items, select the option end of list. So once you select the option end of list, you would be able to specify other ledgers in your entry. So now I need to calculate CGST and SGST on this item. So I will first select the option CGST. So you can see that CGST is auto calculated. So it is calculated at 9% because the rate of GST on laptop is 18%. So this rate was defined at group level. So the GST is calculated accordingly. Now press the enter key and specify the ledger for SGST and press the enter key. So notice that SGST2 is also auto calculated. So this is how you record a purchase entry in item invoice mode and with GST component. So after entering all those details, you can press Ctrl A to save this entry. So I will press Ctrl A. Okay, and we just recorded a purchase entry in item invoice mode.